Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had a little bird speak in my ear. I was getting caught up on some of Lena Rodriguez Terradon on her videos, and which I like to do because she's wonderful. And this little thought just came into my mind about Leona Helmsley. So I guess I'm sitting there in my intuition, listening to Lena and her intuition, and Leona Helmsley comes in. And I am thinking, why is Leona Helmsley here? So let me tell you about Leona Helmsley. She died in 2007, actually. She was a great hotel magnate who owned so many rental properties. It was ridiculous. She was called the Queen of Mean. She was sentenced for tax evasion, tax fraud, because she was doing this big rental project in her mansion and billing it as if it was happening at one of her hotels and claiming all of the expenses as tax deductions. She was also famous for not paying her contractors. Donald Trump learned a lot from Leona Helmsley. They started out as very good friends, and then the feud. They had a huge feud. And at one point, Trump poured a bottle of red wine in the hood of an expensive coat that was on the back of her chair. It was crazy stuff was happening, and he bragged about it. So it was interesting. Now, Leona got her day in court. And a woman who was working for her, and yes, these were undocumented workers who were being paid under the table, said that she heard Leona say, "We don't pay taxes. Paying taxes is for the little people." Well, I am wondering what Leona Helmsley has to say to us. Because I feel her presence over there, and she is regretful. She is regretful. She's actually in better shape than I thought she would be, but then she's been gone for a while. She's been learning over there. So, yeah, and so she's definitely redeemable. And Leona, what would you like to tell? Lots of strong energy here. This is something. Okay, Leona, what would you like to tell us? And I do feel like you want to spill on Don, but not, well, maybe a little bit because of revenge. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to get this energy. Well, Leona, we'll just give the microphone to you, and we'll get your energy. Okay, so in the middle of the heart of the matter, we have the Ace of Swords. Revelation. Oh, so see, this is what she was telling me, that before she died, and a lot of times this part of my Celtic cross, when I do these readings, has just turned out to be right before they went, and then this part after they're going. So Ace of Swords. And so she was understanding a lot more before she died. She was. That's why I feel like she's in better shape than I thought she would be spiritually. You know, she does have a sense of humor. A little bit of a wicked sense of humor still, though, I see. But now it's a lot lighter, and no, she is not vengeful or vindictive, she tells me. She just has a little twinkle in her eye, though. It's so interesting. It's almost like she's saying, well, Donald really relished my comeuppance. He really relished my comeuppance. So what about his? How will he feel about his? But she's in his court, though. She is actually with him on and off and trying to get him this insight before it's too late. She is there with him, and she knows, but she knows him. She knows him. She says it's not like he's receptive to what she's saying. But she is there. She is there, and she considers him a friend. From the other side, yes, lots of electricity there. From the other side, she considers him a friend. She goes back to the days when they were friends. So how wonderful is that? And she would like Donald to know that she does forgive him. Although, she says he would do well to learn from her mistakes. This is what she tells me. So before she died, she spent years as a recluse. She wasn't able to be in charge of her hotels, running them as much because a convicted felon can't have a liquor license. And most of those hotels had bars, so she wasn't able to run them. And she was considered a terrible employer. Yes, she was very sharp. She admits it readily to me now. She was very sharp. She could be very cruel. She just didn't think about other people's feelings. So she just wanted to get things done. She thought she was being a tough businesswoman. She thought this was how a woman had to be in a man's world. That's what she thought at the time. Yeah. And she did have a charitable side to her. Even though she could be really impatient and get upset, she had a charitable side to her. And she actually felt like she was helping women to succeed. But I don't know if that included her wait staff, you know, her house staff. She tells me, no, I'm sorry to say it did not. So, okay. So anyway, she was learning a lot before she went. And then there's death. Yeah, then death came a-knocking. That was her challenge. She found it quite challenging to cross over. In other words, if this is showing up as the challenge card. She was not one who welcomed death. She was not one, she was afraid. But she had this glimmer of hope that it was going to be okay. And she would be, was she Catholic? I don't know if she was Catholic, but she had this thing about, she confessed her sins before she went. She confessed to some religious person, some spiritual advisor before she left. And she was like daring to hope that was enough. It was kind of like that. And I only ask, was she Catholic? Because Catholics put a lot of emphasis on confessing one's sins, you know, before one passes. If they're traditional Catholics, they do. Not so many of those around anymore. But that's all of the anointing of the sick, you know, when the priest comes, and that's part of that. So above it all, we have the Five of Wands. And that is a lot of conflict. So there was a lot of conflict in her life, even before the end. I feel like internal conflict for her, for sure, because she wasn't sure. You know, she was not a spiritually connected person. So she was daring to hope, but she was wondering if she was being foolish. So there was definitely internal conflict, but also conflict around her. She was not loved very much. I mean, I know she had conflicted relationships or strange relationships with some family, but she's telling me the people in her house too. She still wasn't getting along with them. People who were hired to take care of her, she still wasn't getting along well with them. And she didn't know why. And she just didn't, she was really self-centered. She didn't really think of all the times she'd behaved in terrible ways to them. And we have the Five of Cups behind. And she was fooled. You know, when people would say nice things to her because they were managing her, you know, like, okay, we'll prop up her ego. She'll be easier on us then. She thought they were telling her the truth. She thought they liked her. So she was finding out as she was more and more ill, she had congestive heart failure, that she was not so well liked. So Five of Cups, she was looking at the past and looking at loss. Before she passed, she was feeling that. She was feeling it. She feels like that time of illness was an opportunity for her to feel. She hated it at the time, but it was an opportunity for her to feel a lot of things and heal from them. You know, feel regretful, which for her meant being regretful. Underneath it all, the Seven of Coins. She didn't have enough health. Coins, pentacles can be health. It's not enough. It's not enough. Her energy was poor. She just knew. She knew her heart was failing. She knew. And then in the immediate future, we have the Three of Cups. Celebration. So obviously, loved ones came, friends. I feel like friends, maybe a female relative also, but women came. Yeah, oh, lots of electricity there. Yes, she was so overjoyed. They came by her bed. They came to see her when she was very ill. And getting ready to pass. And they helped her. They helped her. She had joy. She even had joy laying there in the bed then. And definitely peace. And she was just listening to them. She says time went on where she was just listening to them and being reassured. Yeah. You know, Spirit doesn't let us go alone. And then underneath, at the root of the matter, Eight of Coins, she had a lot to learn. Here she is, the apprentice. She says to me, isn't it ironic how she always looked down at people who worked with their hands? She always looked down on them. And here she was, you know, just the most humble of apprentices there on the other side, learning about spiritual matters because she had no clue. She didn't understand about love or compassion. She loved people, but very few. We have the Seven of Wands holding her own. Yeah, it was hard. It wasn't easy. No wonder she had help arriving to help her, because it was not easy. She had to stand her ground. She felt like she was going to be kind of torn asunder a little bit. Huh. And then, yeah, Six of Swords. It's interesting to me. A lot of people, when I'm in this column, I'm seeing joy come in. I'm seeing security come in. I'm seeing all these lovely things come in. For Leona, it looks like the learning began is what happened then. And that was okay. You know, but I feel a real calm and peace here. I don't feel like it was terrible. I just think it was time for her to do that. Six, yeah, she says it was kind of terrible. So she's telling me it was kind of terrible. Just scary. Yeah. She had to see a lot of what she had done, of course. The Six of Swords, moving on to something better. The difficult lessons in her pack, you know, moving on to calmer shores. And above it all, 10 of Wands. Sort of overburdened. That's unusual. But again, she had a life that there was a lot of, she has a lot of, had a lot of rehabilitation, right, to do afterwards. So the 10 of Wands was, that's her taking on a lot of different jobs. That is her processing a lot of different things and taking on jobs to make amends. She's trying to help from the other side. And yes, women, for some reason, yes, women. She's trying to help them navigate business somehow and keep themselves, you know. We have Two of Cups. So did her husband go before her? I believe, yes, her husband went before her. So she was glad. She was glad. Actually, he is on the same level as she is. So that's nice. A lot of times, you know, I think we pass and we assume that husbands and wives and children and parents are going to be all together. That's not always the case. I think that it depends upon where they need to be. You know, where do they need to be learning? Where do they need to be spending their time? And one may be spending their time more in one realm than the other. You know, I think it's like that. Alison Dubois is a terrific medium. She did an interview that I would recommend. If you just search her on YouTube, it's on YouTube. She did an interview, I think a couple of years ago, but she talks about that. They're not, you know, it's not that they can't see each other, but they might see each other from afar, you know. But these two were on the same level. So they were able to kind of bump around in the dark together here and figure this out. They had help, of course. Of course they did. Nine of Swords. So her life review was tough. She had to look at the way she made other people feel. She had a rough one. She's telling me, but she's telling me that she's very glad that she learned a lot from this lifetime. And she's very glad she was a mercy. She said it was such a mercy to have a long and lingering illness. Wow. Whew. That's something. Because she says the things that she realized then, she absolutely needed to get before she crossed over, or it would have been a lot tougher. This way she was able to redeem her experience and learn a lot from it. Okay. Wow. So this is amazing. So Leona obviously has concern for Donald. She has concern for him. Okay, Spirit. Yeah, she doesn't have any judgment for him at all. Not after everything she's seen that she did. No, she has concern for him. She wants him to be able to have that time to understand things before he passes. She wants to see him. She tells me she has a dinner party waiting for him. She wants to see him. Um, yeah, I said bumping around in the dark together, but really that was, I feel like that's in the beginning. She was able to form a comfortable life over there only as long as she makes amends. She tells me she can only feel comfortable as long as she's making amends. So that's what she's doing over there. So Spirit, oh, and she's going to all of those people who worked for her, and she's trying to do them a favor. She's got a lot of people. Interesting. So Spirit, so Leona, what would you, and I'm asking my spirit guides, and I'm asking my angels to guide this process and bring forth the best, okay? So, and to protect this process. Spirit, what would Leona have to say to Donald? I hear Don, but okay. I think this is to watch and wait. What do you have coming? What harvest? What bounty? What have you earned? What's coming for you as a result of your efforts? Be watchful and waiting. Be watchful. Be watchful. You don't have as much time as you think. I feel like she's saying, be watchful. Okay, the King of Cups. Not that he's going tomorrow or anything like that, but you know, I think he would think he's going to live another 10 years, and I don't know that that's the case. So King of Cups here. There's a man who is in his environment now. And a lot of times in the political readings, I'd say Putin, but I don't feel this. I don't feel this. I feel this is, because this is a personal reading, right? There's a man in his environment now who is more mature and caring and insightful. It's not Don. It's not Eric. It's not Jared. This is an older man. She wants him to listen to him. She wants him to listen to him. I wonder who this is. You know, the King of Cups is an interesting card. It can be a mature figure, but it can also simply be an older man who tends to be emotionally, like emotions bear upon his decision-making and his interpretation of things. You know, he's got some insight. Okay, you guys. You're going to probably tell me what you think of this in comments, but I think it's Rudy Giuliani. I think it's Rudy Giuliani, you guys. Okay, because just because they're King of Cups doesn't mean they're really, you know, doing a fantastic job at being King of Cups. I think it's Rudy. I think he really is trying. I hear he is his last real friend. That's what I'm hearing from Leona, like he's his last real friend. Rudy is. So that's why he gets King of Cups. He has some compassion. He still has the ability to connect with Trump on an emotional basis. Wow. She wants him to listen to Rudy. Because Rudy, even though sometimes we're questioning the wisdom of what he says, you know, how can you defend this man? Trump makes it so difficult. You know, Rudy's just trying this, trying that, see if it sticks. And he's manipulative. Yeah, the King of Cups can be manipulative too. If the fact that it's a king doesn't necessarily mean it's the person's mature, but just means they're older. You know, so okay, manipulative, yes. Okay, so that's Rudy. She says he should listen to Rudy. He absolutely needs to listen to Rudy. Page of Coins here. And she tells me, you guys, she tells me that Trump is, got Trump a lot like she was. A lot like she was. Yet, she feels like he was a better person than she. She feels like at least he had more connections with more people. So she actually feels like he was a better person than she. So I just have to put that out there. So she feels like there is hope, but she's like, not if he keeps going the way he's going. She wants him to slow up and look at what's important. The Page of Coins. So this is about always his quest for more money. His focus is on, how can I make more money, more power, more security, in the way, in the sense that I'm powerful, that kind of security. She just says, no. Listen to Rudy. She says, think about what you have waiting for you on the other side. She says, it's not a joke. And we have the page, let me clarify that, the Page of Cups. Don't be looking, she says to Donald, don't be looking for the next coin. Please instead look for the next interaction that helps you to feel good. You know, be led more by, you know, try to find real joy. He doesn't really have that. Little teensy-weensy bits. Try to find that and follow that and expand that and do whatever it takes to expand that. Not, don't worry about the money and the power. So this is what she's saying. I think that it's with babies. She's telling me that he can find that peace of joy with babies, very small children. So hold a baby. So we have Six of Cups, Page of Swords. Yeah, they go back a long way, him and Rudy, yes. Page of Swords, yeah, but... Okay, so Rudy's trying to tell him, don't be impulsive with what you're saying. Don't just shoot off at the mouth. Don't tweet impulsively. She's saying he needs to listen to him. He needs to listen to him. She's saying he needs the, well, but then again, she tells me this. He also needs some difficult times to understand. There he has the Three of Cups. Watching and waiting. She says to me that she will visit him. She already does. But she will visit him, you know, before he goes. Just like she had friends come. So she's saying that he does need some very difficult things for the evolution of his soul right now. And to put him in good shape, better shape for when he crosses over. He needs some difficult things. So she's not saying if he abandons his pursuit of any little inch of extra money or power that it's going to all be okay. She's not telling him that. She's not saying it's going to all be okay. But she's just saying, what does it benefit you to expand your power and your money? What does it benefit you if you lose your soul, you know? And he's not going to lose his soul, but I mean, he could make a really rough time for himself and for others, the pain that he's causing others, because he's in a very powerful position, and he's going to have to feel all of what he made other people feel from this podium. You know, it's going to be, whew. So she's encouraging him to be led by his compassion, any joy, any love he has, and quick, because it's not going to matter. She says it's not going to matter if he ends up having to do, you know, in trouble for something legally and without the presidency to protect him. She goes, that stuff, that's nothing. That is nothing. You know, she herself spent, I think it was some time on house arrest. She said that's just nothing. She was so worried, like that was the devastating thing in her life. And she's now telling me that that was one of the best things that happened to her. If it hadn't happened to her, and she kept on the way she was, she wouldn't be where she is now. So that's Leona Helmsley. That's what I got. This is simply a medium reading. So, you know, if anybody's watching and they wish to discount it, they're certainly free to. But that's what I'm hearing. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.